Hey, how's it going? Today I'm talking about when should a slow runner run fast and when should they run slow?
This is Running to the Castle, a podcast for injury prone RunDisney runners on a journey to running magical miles. Join me, Dr. Allie, as I share the secrets I've gathered as a runner, doctor of physical therapy, and coach. You'll learn the exact ways I get my clients to the castle strong without feeling broken or held together with KT tape as they cross the finish line.
I get questions about pacing a lot. I get a lot of questions a lot. And so I really want to talk about this one, the slow and fast, because I think it's crucial for helping somebody cross the finish line. So when we're thinking about running fast and slow, many runners hear you should run 80% in zone 2. You may be thinking, what does that mean? So I don't follow heart rate zones because there are so many things that affect your heart rate. So zone 2 is if you follow heart rate zone training, zone 1, zone 2, zone 3, zone 4, and zone 5. Zone 5 is you are exerting the most effort, or your heart rate is the highest, rather. You could be in heart rate zone 5 and not be exerting much effort. That would be a problem if your heart rate was very high and you weren't exerting effort. Heart rate zone 1 is the lowest heart rate for you. And to get your heart rate zones, the best way to do it is in a facility and testing it. But there are ranges, I don't know what they are, that people will go off of based on what their age is and what their highest heart rate is. So when somebody is talking about doing the majority of your runs or 80% of your runs in zone 2, they're talking about doing it at level 2 effort. If we have a level 1 through level 5, zone 1 through zone 5, we are talking about level 2. So you're not hanging around, which would be heart rate zone 1, but you're doing some effort. Other people will say your easy runs should be easy. Now, easy is going to be subjective, right? Or it should be conversational. You should be able to have a conversation with somebody. You should be able to sing. Those are other indicators. And those are true. I do believe in those. Not that I don't believe in heart rate zone, but heart rates are just, there are so many factors that go into heart rate zone, especially dehydration as one of them. So when I talk about running slow, I also mean run easy. And in Stronger, Faster, Finisher, we actually test, and I say we because I do this too. I'm due for pace testing again. Not in 2 weeks. In 2 weeks, I'll pace test again for Springtime Surprise Challenge training. And so in Stronger, Faster, Finisher, we pace test and we find out easy, moderate, hard, and walking paces. Those paces, the easy, moderate, and hard, dictate what we're going to do on the different types of runs. It will dictate how fast you should be going or how slow you should be going. In general, the long run of the week, or long runs, if you're running a challenge and having multiple long runs in the week, those should be easy. And then speed workouts should be pretty hard. And so if they're going easy, you're going to go slow. If you're going hard, they should be fast. So I don't do the math of 80% of the running is easy. I don't do that math. But based on as my clients are increasing their mileage, their middle of the week workouts aren't increasing. So at one point, like in the beginning of a training cycle, my runners may actually run more during their speed workouts than they do during their long run. And that's okay. There's a method to the madness. There is a purpose. And so you're getting faster in those shorter, quote unquote, shorter speed workouts. I use that term because the majority of the training plan, those are going to be the shorter workouts. But we have to start somewhere with the long runs as well. So if you follow any of my free training plans, If you are doing more than a 5K distance, the first distance long run you run is 3.1 miles. It's a 5K distance. And those miles are slow. The long run is always slow, always. So let's talk about how to decide whether you should be running fast or slow. The first question to ask yourself is, what is the purpose of this run? What is the goal of this run? What is the purpose? What is the goal of this run? If it's a long run, the goal and the purpose is to build time on your feet week after week, so that by the time you reach race day, you have progressively increased how long you're on your feet. For some of my runners, I don't even care mileage on the long run. We actually switch it to time-based. That's a whole other conversation. But we start, because most of us follow distances for the long run, so that we can say, oh, I ran a 5K. Oh, I ran 9 miles today. I ran 10 miles today. Whatever it is. I also use mileage the majority of the time. Anything higher than a 5K starts at a 5K distance. If you are starting at 0 and building up to a 5K, it starts at like 0.68 miles. It's low. And over time, week after week after week, you're adding about 10% more, so that you're progressively adding more time on your feet. So that long run, whether you think it's long or not, mileage-wise, because some people think a 5K is not long, for this conversation, it's categorized as long, and other conversations, it is also categorized as long. It is the shortest of the long distance category when we're talking about running. So that's the long run, and it's easy miles. It's slow miles, because the goal of the long run is to build time on your feet. That's it. Goal of the long run is to build time on your feet. I would rather hear that you went the slowest you've ever gone than to hear you say, oh, I just got a new PR at home on my long run. I just ran 10 miles, the furthest I've ever run, and I ran it the fastest I've ever run. I don't want to hear that. To me, hearing those words is not sustainable, and it's a recipe for injury or burnout, meaning you're not going to want to keep running because you're going to dread running for a whole slew of reasons. I've seen it time and time and time again. If you're doing the long run and you're doing it faster, it's not sustainable. You will eventually get hurt or not be motivated to keep running. So, goal of the long run, build time on your feet. And we're using that information to determine, is this run what is the purpose of this run, so we can decide should be slow or fast. Now, then we're looking at other runs, a 30-20-10, progression, tempo, or hill workout. Those are to build speed. Those are to get faster. To get faster, you need to go fast. The goal of speed workouts is to push your body hard enough so that you can get faster. So your muscles can get faster, your leg turnover can get faster, and your body can recover faster from short bursts of speed. Overall, that translates to faster. So when you're deciding, should I run this run fast or slow, what is the purpose of this run? If it's the long run and it's labeled long run on the training plan, whether it be my free training plan or in Stronger, Faster, Finisher, long run equals easy peasy lemon squeezy. Walk more if you have to bring the overall average down. Do a slight jaunt or trot to bring it down. Sing, talk to somebody, go slow. If you see something that says 30-20-10, progression, tempo, or hill on my training plan, whether it be the free one or in Stronger, Faster, Finisher, that's a speed workout. That's there to go fast. But Dr. Allie, I need to go fast on the long run so that I can prove to myself I can maintain that pace over that many miles. I promise I hear you. I get that question all of the time. It's not even a question, it's kind of a statement, right? Like I need to prove to myself that I can go this fast for that long. Yes. Yes, I get that. However, if you haven't been consistently training for at least a year, and I mean consistently training like no breaks, you didn't take a month, 2 month, 3 months off after your last race before you started training for your next one, right? You have been consistently training and you have built on the miles. If you haven't been doing that and you take that time off, you're building fresh and new again. So we need to build up, in my professional opinion, we need to build up time on your feet first before we build up speed. Now, there are other coaches that actually think the opposite. They think you should build speed first and then work on long distance. I find that's detrimental to my audience because we are slow back of the packers. And what ends up happening is we get fast for a shorter distance. And then as we're adding long miles in, we end up not having as many big wins because we're looking at, oh, well, I was so fast for this short run, but now as I'm going longer, I'm just getting slower, which will happen. You'll notice that your 5K race pace is not your marathon race pace. And you'll notice that for the elite athletes as well. Their 5K race pace is way faster than their marathon race pace if they're doing multiple distances. Because it doesn't happen that you can maintain the same pace for a marathon that you did for a 5K. That is so much longer. It's 3.1 miles versus 26.2 miles. It's not going to happen. And so what I end up seeing is when you build speed first, then you start adding long miles and you just get disappointed because you're so used to seeing all these really fast miles for short distances. And then you're suddenly doing 10 miles and you're like, well, I can't maintain the same pace that I could for all of those 3.1 miles. What's going on? I must be doing something awful. You're not. It's just natural, especially in a short span of time. Maybe over the course of 5 or 10 years, your new 10-miler pace is your old 5K pace. That could happen. It's a lot, but it could happen. But then your 5K pace in those 5 to 10 years also will improve and get faster. So let's say your 5K pace now is 45 minutes. Maybe in 5 to 10 years, your 5K pace is 27 minutes. Or finish time. I should use finish time. I don't know what that translates to pace. So let's say it another way. Maybe now your 5K pace is a 15-minute per mile. I knew that one. And maybe in 5 to 10 years, your new 5K pace is 7 minutes per mile. And maybe now your 10-miler pace is 2 hours 40 We're doing paces here. Maybe your 10-mile pace is 20 minutes per mile, right? Overall average. Maybe for that first 5K, you're maintaining a 15-minute per mile pace, and then the last 7 miles drops because you gas out. But maybe 5 to 10 years from now, maybe it's a 15-minute per mile pace, right? So it can change, but I recommend building time on your feet first. So then you have those miles in the bank. And if you already have done the miles, then you can do the long run, quote unquote, long run faster. And I changed the name of those. I call those a paced long run because now you're pacing yourself. And I'm doing it for some of my Stronger, Faster Finisher clients now, starting in February, moving through the next training cycle for the ones who are training for the same race next year and just did it. So as an example, marathon. The couple of clients who were in Stronger, Faster Finisher this past round leading up to marathon weekend. And so they did the marathon, or maybe they did dopey, but we're just going to talk one distance for right now. So marathon, they did the marathon. Well, now training this time around, they want to get faster. So we're going to make it so that they train consistently They don't lose their time on their feet that they've built, the endurance that they've built. And now we're going to do some paced long runs throughout. So they will be allowed, permitted to do a 10-mile quote unquote long run as a paced long run and aim to hold a certain race pace. But even that 10-mile race pace is not going to be the same as marathon race pace unless they choose, okay, I want a 13-minute per mile for my marathon pace, as opposed to and holding that 13-minute per mile over 10 miles, which may or may not be easy for them now, as opposed to their 10-mile pace is 10 minutes per mile. They can't take that 10 minutes per mile and say, that's my new marathon pace, right? It doesn't work that way. It can work in the reverse, where they're going slower than what their 10-mile race pace is, doing that on a paced 10-mile run because they want that to be a marathon pace. That gets very confusing. I'm not going to go into that much more. If you're anything like me, you need to see the numbers and talk it out back and forth with me. But we're talking about when to choose to run fast or slow. What is the goal of this run today? Is it a long run? Then it's slow and easy, conversational. And if you're in Stronger, Faster, Finisher, you tested your paces. You need to be running easy pace. But if it's a 30, 20, 10, a progression run, a tempo, or a hill, I'm basing those paces off of your moderate and hard paces that you've tested. So now, as an example for the progression run, you might start at what your moderate pace is. You run that for 30 seconds and then you do walk, because most of us do the run walk intervals, and the most common run walk interval is 30-30. So you essentially run your moderate pace for 30 seconds, you walk for 30 seconds. Then your next 30 seconds of running is 0.1 miles per hour faster than your moderate pace. And you keep going 0.1 mile per hour faster every time you do the running portion. And suddenly you're doing your hard pace for 30 seconds. And then maybe in 6 weeks, when you retest, your moderate pace is 0.2 mile per hour faster. And now that's what you're starting at. And see how you keep going up and up and up and getting faster and faster and faster. So when should you run fast and when should you run slow? You should run fast when the goal of that workout is running fast. You should run slow when the goal of that workout is time on your feet. Building endurance to be on your feet for that amount of distance or time. So that's typically the long run. If you increase distance and you increase your pace or your speed at the same time, it's a recipe to get injured. That I see over and over and over again. When my runners in Stronger, Faster, Finisher come to me, I have them answer a very in-depth questionnaire. Sorry, not sorry. It's a lot of information that I do need, especially if somebody has gotten hurt in the past or has pain at a certain amount of mileage. One of the questions I ask is the last 5 or 6 long runs leading up to your race, what were your paces? If those paces are fast for them, I can tell you why you gassed out on race day, you went too fast on the long runs, or why you got hurt. And if you're not hurt yet and you keep going faster and faster and faster, you've been lucky. That's pretty much all I can say about that. You've been lucky. It will happen 99% of the time. Go slow on those long runs. And I know it's challenging. I hear many runners tell me, I can't go any slower. I promise you, you can. It will take effort. You may have to just walk for a little while, but going too fast on your long runs will make it so that you either don't finish or you get injured or you suddenly are not motivated to keep running. And another comment my runners will tell me is, well, I can't go any faster on my fast workouts, so I need to stay going fast on my easy workouts. Well, you probably can't go faster on your fast workouts because you're going too fast on your slow workouts. There's nothing left in the tank for you. Your body is still exhausted on Tuesday from Sunday's long run because you maintained, let's say, a 16-minute per mile pace for somebody who that's a fast pace for them. And so on their easy run, that easy run pace should either be what they tested, actually easy, conversational singing, being able to do it all day, every day, or if you're not sure what it is, you haven't tested it, whatever race pace you want to be going, and in this case, 16-minute per mile, now it should be 30% slower. So we're talking like 19-minute per mile pace. That's not an exact 30%. I'm just quickly doing math. It's roughly that amount. If you're going 16-minute per mile pace and that's pushing it for you, you're still going to be tired on Tuesday for that speed workout. So you're not going to be able to go faster than 16-minute per mile. But if you slow down to that 19-minute per mile pace on the long run, your body will recover faster so that you can go hard on your speed workout. And all of a sudden, you're doing 14-minute per mile paces on your progression run. You're exhausting yourself by trying to go just as fast on every single run. Sometimes you need a reset. Reset everything. Take a beat. Just walk your long runs for a little bit of time. Let your body recoup, let your body recover. Maybe you do that for 2 or 3 weeks. On the second week, you start back in on your speed workouts. You know, that first week, it's easy peasy. Everything is just walking. This is one of the reasons why I have you walk for 2 weeks after a race, because you're pushing it on the race, right? Most of us. Some of us, depending on the race distance and the goal, you're dawdling. That's fine. I still want you to walk for 2 weeks. But you need to recover, reset, essentially. And so if you're finding I can't go fast on my fast runs and all of my paces are just the same, I'm hovering around the same pace within 30 seconds to a minute between my easy run, my moderate, and my hard, and they're all roughly the same, the first thing I would look at is how slow can you go on your easy run? So just walk it for a little while and walk the other workouts, do a reset, and then maybe on that second or third week, try in on your speed workouts again and see what you can do during your 30-20-10 or your progression or your tempo. See how much energy you have in the tank now that you've given yourself a reset and taken it in. So first question is, what is the goal of this run in order to determine should I run it slow or should I run it fast? If it's a long run and the goal is building time on your feet, that's slow, easy, conversational pace. Zone 2 if you follow heart rate zones. If it's a 30-20-10, a progression, a tempo, a hill workout, that's the goal of that is to get faster, to push your body hard so that you get faster. So now you can determine which one should I do.
Please take what you've learned in this episode and use it to adjust your strategy for your RunDisney race training. It's not about doing more. It's about doing the right things in the right balance so you can finish strong, not broken. And if you want personalized guidance specific to your race, your injury history, your running background, and your goals, that's exactly what we do inside Stronger, Faster, Finisher. You'll get step-by-step instructions and a proven system to help you train smarter from start to finish. Join the waitlist today to be the first to know when it opens next. That's all for now. Talk to you soon.